this. We are live on the record. It is Tuesday, Monday, February 9th, excuse me, about 6:07. This is the Human Relations Commission meeting for February. Going to share my screen because I have something new to show. As always, tonight we have a interpretation service. Are folks looking at the PowerPoint?
Yes, we are.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Y voy a repetir esta información en español. As always, we have a interpretation service, and I have this handy dandy new graphic. For those who have not been choosing a channel, please navigate to the bottom portion of your screen. You'll see a globe icon. Click on that, and then you'll see the languages that we have for tonight, which are English and Spanish. Please choose the language you would like to listen and participate in tonight's meeting. Bienvenidos a todos. Esta noche tenemos un servicio de interpretación. Si puede navegar a la parte baja de su pantalla, va a ver un globo mundial. Puede hacer un clic en el globo mundial y va a ver los idiomas que ofrecemos esta noche. Son inglés y español. Puede escoger el idioma que quiere escuchar y participar a esta reunión. If you are joining from a computer, the image on the screen is what it will look like si está con nosotros por medio de computadora. La imagen en su pantalla es como va a ver el menú. If you are joining over the phone, it should look like this. Si está con nosotros por medio de su teléfono, esta debe ser como aparece su pantalla. All right. That being said, Aaron, I'll hand it over to you.
Fantastic. Well, I herefore call this meeting to order with all 5 commissioners present, February 9th, 2026 at 6:10 p.m. Are you going to keep the agenda up, or?
If you would like me to, I can do that.
I guess I can also just
One sec.
have it out. Cool. Great. First thing, any adjustments need made to the agenda? You can see that we've got a few things on discussion informational items, discussing more of the 2026 work plan, just kind of looking at our homework and how we've all landed with that, looking at how we can support our immigrant community and kind of discussing things around that, and then discussing flock cameras. So we have that on the agenda, and curious if anybody has anything that they would like to add or adjust about the agenda before we dive in. Okay. Seeing none, we can move forward to approve the minutes from last week. Herefore, move to approve the minutes. If I can hear a second. Seeing a second from Mindy. All in favor of approving last week's minutes, say aye. 1, 2, 3.
Aye.
Emily says aye. Jorge.
Aye.
Great. Meeting minutes are approved. Okay, let us move into open comment. It looks like we've got Lynn Siegel, so let's hear from you, Lynn. And I think Christian will lead us into that with some good context setting.
Yes, give me 1 second, Lynn. I see you raised your hand. Here we go. The city has engaged with community members to co-create a vision for productive, meaningful, and inclusive civic conversations. This vision supports physical and emotional safety for community members, staff, board and commission members, as well as democracy for people of all ages, identities, lived experiences, and political perspectives. For more information about this vision and the community engagement processes, please visit the website showing on your screen. The following are examples of rules of decorum found in the Boulder Revised Code and other guidelines that support this vision. These will be upheld during this meeting. All remarks and testimony shall be limited to matters related to city business. No participant shall make threats or use other forms of intimidation against any person. Obscenity, racial epithets, and other speech and behavior that disrupts or otherwise impedes the ability to conduct the meeting are prohibited. Participants are required to sign up to speak, or in this case, raise your hand as you've done, Lynn. Thank you. Using the name they are commonly known by, and individuals must display their whole name before being allowed to speak online. Currently, only audio testimony is permitted. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, I'd like a little back and forth about what happened last time. I was thrown off of the webinar or the Zoom meeting. What happened there? I tried to get back on and I couldn't.
Elizabeth, were you at the last? You were at the last meeting. I'm not. I was not. Can you speak to that, please?
Yes, I don't recall in that we were being I recall there were public comment and I believe that stopped, and other commissioners can correct me if my memory's wrong. That we heard your public
That
comment, and I remember Emily
it must have been, maybe that was
responding
the
to
other
that, so I don't
board.
think it was us.
See, these boards are simultaneous. So
Yeah,
my
I think it
bad.
might have been another one.
I'm
That's okay.
trying to jump back and forth. I'm doing the best I can, Elizabeth. But it's tough when you can't even get the link to the meeting you're coming to, which is what happened tonight. Now, right now, that link is not up. I know I've got it because you sent it to me. But what about anyone else? This is not about me. This is the Human Relations Commission. There's a lot of people in distress out there right now about, ICE and everything else, and they can't get on. There's no link. Why is the link not up? It says right there, it'll be up 24 hours in advance. I depend on that. It happens with all my other boards, and I follow at least 5, more like 7 of them, because this isn't one I usually follow, because it's always conflicting with Landmarks Board, with TAB, with PRAB, with, planning board, etc. But why is the link not up? I just want to know. Like, it would be nice to have an apology at least.
And I can speak to that, Lynn. I was under the impression that I had put the meeting link up on Thursday when I created the link there, and I became aware that it was not just when you called from my version of the website, it looked like it was up there. So that is my mistake, and I do apologize for that.
Thank you. Thank you
You're,
so much.
you're very welcome.
It's so unusual to have a city person, although you're not an employee per se, apologize. And apologize means so much. And I hope
Christian
this
actually is
doesn't
an employee.
happen. Pardon, what, Aaron?
Oh, I was saying Christian is an employee.
I am indeed a
Oh,
city
right.
Wayland.
He is
Yeah.
his staffer, right. But right, it's well, Meg's. There was a meeting the other day, financial strategies meeting. It was erased. It wasn't just canceled like it should have been. And as a result, it started a cascade of other things. I got suspended from the Tate building, partially as a result. So these things have repercussions. You know, you're in a difficult position where a lot of people are depending on you without you realizing it. So, I mean, and I know you realize it, and you're just a human being, and I understand that it was just overlooked. But it does have a big repercussion, and I do hope that this won't happen again and that you can get that up like right now so other people can come on because I'm just me. And regards to Human Relations Commission and my comments tonight, I'm in a very difficult situation with regards to the city of Boulder for something that I never anticipated when I applied for a CARE program and EOC. CARE is Colorado Affordable Residential Energy, and EOC is Energy Outreach Colorado. And they had a retrofit program that I waited a whole year for to see if I was eligible. And then when I became eligible, I was informed by the city and Climate Initiatives Project, who were administrating the program to me, that I could not be in any way involved with anything to do with their $55,000 retrofit that they were installing on my house. And this was described as something that happened 10 years ago at the county when I went for a retrofit there. And I talked to one of the vendors and went back to the county and said, this vendor's good. And they said, sorry, we dropped them. And they wouldn't tell me why. And when I talked to the vendor, they said why. They said that they were doing a solar install for the county under adverse conditions, and the county was forcing them to do it anyway. So they declined. They would have put themselves in liability and, be subject to damages, and the county dumped them as a result from the project. They later put them back up, but meantime, I'd been talking to them, and my understanding, I didn't know this until much later, my understanding was that they had been illicitly dumped by the county, and I couldn't trust the county after that. And David Hashimanji, who was putting on that county program under Energy Smart, to this day, a year ago, he's retired now, but a year ago when I talked to him about this, he still wouldn't talk to me about it. 10 years later, I was gaslighted by the county in my project that I couldn't be involved. Now, what did they do? They put a mini split in my dining room, which I don't use. So why am I going to turn on this thing? And there's big holes in the wall behind that, and my all of my stuff was removed. They put in a hot water heater that's a loud humming buzz. Just because you're low income doesn't mean that you have to listen to an electronic loud buzzing in the main part of your house. And I heard that Boulder Housing Partners did the same thing to a lot of folks. These air source heat pump hot water heaters, which are very efficient, should not be put into environments like this where they can be heard. You have to, that's the downside of them, is finding a good place to put them that's insulated and that gives enough room, because they embed room air into the water. That's how they operate. So they need,
You're at
space
time,
around it.
Lynn.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so my point is, it's a disaster what was done to me, as if I don't have enough deferred maintenance and other things. And I'd like to know where the Human Relations Commission comes out on supporting community from being gaslighted like this and what can be done.
Great. Thank you.
I'd
Thank you for
really
your
appreciate
testimony.
it.
Lynn, I appreciate your testimony, and yeah, once again, yeah. And sorry what's happening to you, and yeah, we'll do our best. I don't know what is in our jurisdiction here, but I appreciate you continuing to come and bring your voice.
What's really important is we need people to want to do energy retrofits and to want energy efficiency. And this is doing the opposite. It's scaring people away. And I'm afraid of what's happened to all the other people besides me. So Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. And you should see, I was able to get the link on the website, so I appreciate
Yay,
you bringing that to my
Christian!
attention.
Good for you.
Okay.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
I
Really
appreciate you. Have a good
appreciate
night.
it.
Great. And I don't know if there's anything you have from staff on that, Christian. I just do not know about any of those things to know well enough, but yeah.
Without digging into the topic, I don't believe we would necessarily, the commission would necessarily be able to address this. I would need to know a little bit more about the specifics of the situation to figure out who at the city would be the appropriate entity. Um, Elizabeth, do you have anything else to add to that one there?
I just share other staff, city staff are aware. But thank you.
Okay.
Great.
I'll be glad to provide any more information at any time, 24/7, if that's any help.
Great. Yeah, that would be in Christian, no. That'd be in Christian's ballpark.
Yeah, I'm happy
And
to connect with you, Lynn.
yeah. So you can send an email to Christian and maybe he can get you forwarded to where you need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. Moving on to the next part of our agenda. Let's see what is next. Next up is action items. Not seeing any action items listed. Anybody have, doesn't look like it? Cool. So seeing no action items, we can move into the next part of our agenda, which is the meat of the evening, our discussion informational items. And so in discussion items, we've got three things. We're going to talk about our 2026 work plan, and then we're going to bridge into discussing immigrants in our Latin community and kind of what's happening in our country and in our state and city and how we can best be informed and support. And then we're going to discuss flock cameras. And we've got a little bit of writing that Emily led the way on, and I've made a few edits so we can take a look at that. But first things first is let's move into 2026 work plan activities. So last meeting we all talked about taking some time to just like kind of like sit with the work plan priorities, like those, especially those three sections and any potential activities, and maybe like to come back today to share like anywhere in particular that we're feeling particularly drawn and like where we might want to like be most engaged or express some leadership. And so would love to do that. And then I think Christian might also have like a few suggestions about like different activities. So maybe we can move into that afterwards, but maybe let's just like first hear. Yeah, I'd love to hear if folks found time to sit with this and if anybody wants to share, maybe just like share like which of those three, any one, two, or three of them spoke to you most, and like maybe anything that's like coming up as like where you're feeling like you want to be engaged. So maybe we can just like do that and take that prompt as you will. But would love to know if anybody's taken time here and wants to lead the way on this. Hmm. I guess I can. Oh, Mindy, yay.
I mean, I just so you don't have to keep talking. I mean, I'm interested in all of it, but I think that what I am drawn to is kind of elevating the underrepresented and marginalized communities and voices, and also outreach so that they are aware of the access points within civic engagement and especially our commission. Um, you know, when I think of the Latino community, unfortunately, I am not bilingual, so I know that probably isn't the best fit, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't really like to do it anyway. Um, So that was kind of where I was drawn.
Super cool. Yeah, Sharon. Jorge.
I can see if I can do the work plan. That's what I do. So I manage, so I can support on that one. As
Sorry, say
well
that
as
again.
on the work plan, the first one.
Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, I'm not sure if you were saying more. I didn't mean to cut you off. Um, cool. Okay. Sounds like, yeah, the first one more. Cool. Yeah, for me, the first one was definitely like the strongest resonance. Like I feel really passionate about like increasing transparency, helping people feel more connected to their like government, like feeling like those are the people who are in city council and our staff are just like other people and feel like they have access. And with that, just like more participation. Like I've been feeling really jazzed up around like how do we actually like let people know what's happening in the different boards and commissions and let people know what's happening in city council so that people can kind of like have a sense for where the conversations are so that people can feel more empowered to participate. So that's something I'm feeling really energized around. Curious if Carlos or Emily want to share.
Well, unfortunately, this is my second to last meeting, so this flock letter will be my final contribution of yeah, really trying to make sure that Boulder is as accessible, inclusive, and equitable as possible for everybody who lives here and visits and wants to live here.
Mm, mm. Thank you, Emily. I appreciate you doing that, and I appreciate you expressing those values into this conversation. Yeah, and they are the spirit of them will continue even as you go on your journey.
Thank you.
Bueno, voy a tomar la palabra. Como ustedes saben, a mí siempre me ha gustado trabajar como siendo un enlace entre la ciudad y la comunidad, ¿verdad? Siempre he estado en ese plan y yo quiero seguir desarrollándome así, ser ese enlace entre la ciudad y la comunidad, trabajar más con las comunidades que siempre lo he tratado de hacer. Ese es mi principal eh, idea que tengo y pues es lo que quiero seguir haciendo, ¿verdad? Y si hay un rol que pueda llevar a cabo, yo lo haré con gusto.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos, and I appreciate you always being that bridge. Cool. So one thing I'm like hearing is like I'm almost hearing there's like two real good like kind of focus action items. It seems like there's a strong interest in like with Mindy as well of like building the bridges between different communities and marginalized and especially like with our Latin community. And like I think that's just like a huge win if we can do more to build more bridges. And it sounds like there's energy around that. So like just kind of seeing that like maybe we can like shape some of our action around like really looking at how we are supporting deeper integration with our Latin community. And then also hearing like from both me and Jorge, just like improving communications with like city council and like this like vertical. And so yeah, just appreciating like that there's a little bit of the vertical that it seems like me and Jorge want to tend to, and a little bit more of the horizontal, especially with the Latin community. And so just kind of like noticing that and thinking that as we like focus our energies with our work plan, that like those might be a couple areas that we can just like really focus to do a couple small things very well. Curious how that's landing for people.
Well, Jorge, I just felt excited when you said you wanted to manage the work plan. I feel like someone with the eye on kind of supporting the commission through what will become your work, what is our work currently. Yeah, I feel like that would be really helpful. So thank you for that, Jorge.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Cool. So with that interest of managing the work plan, I'm curious if there's anywhere you would like to direct this conversation, Jorge.
Sorry, Aaron, say that again. I couldn't hear you well.
I was saying with that like interest of helping to like manage the work plan, I'm curious if there's anywhere that you might want to like take this conversation to like help support that being shaped up well.
I mean, we've discussed that in the past meetings, on actually building a plan with clear milestones and deliverables that, the commission wants to deliver and achieve. I think that's how I imagine, the work plan. And that you help us, giving it a first try, and really follow up. We mentioned following up on a quarterly basis and see if we are on track or not on track, things that are working or not working. So I see, things in that way. Unless you guys see it differently and we need to manage it differently.
That sounds great to me. Yeah, I think like highlighting a few things, like probably creating some deliverables and like goals and measurables rather around like bridges with the Latin community, I think is really great, and like bridges between like the people and governance and like participation. I just see a few opportunities to just like land in some like good measurables there. I don't quite know what they are, but I feel like those are like well scoped enough that we can kind of yeah, focus in on a few
Mhm.
things we'd like to see more of. Cool. Does it feel like we need like more discussion, or like Jorge, do you just want to like take the lead on helping to like shape some of that up? But I'm getting a sense that we have some more focus with that. And I'm curious if people feel like there's more discussion or more things we want to like land in or like change about the work plan, or if just like this level of just like some quick
Mhm.
sense making is enough.
I mean, it's up to you guys. What I'm just wondering is how do we interact uh, to put it together and update that plan? I mean, you're imagining that we just do it through our meetings?
Yeah, I think like anytime like somebody wants to take a lead, which seems like it'll usually be you, you could probably just
Mhm.
like take the lead on that, bring one other person in to do it
Mhm.
asynchronous, and then just come back in the meeting and be like, "Hey, I made this update. Does this look good to everybody?" And then we
Yeah.
can discuss and then approve. I think we can be pretty efficient about it.
There's no way we can have a shared file, right? Or can we do that?
Not that it's being updated and visible by all of us asynchronous. It
Uh-huh.
can only be visible by two people between meeting times.
I think in that case, we can have a like document. There just can't be like conversation happening in said document, is my understanding, and I can double check this, but like conversation, commission, business being or decisions being made on or in that document. So if there's like comments going back and forth between commissioners, and it is something that should be spoken about at a meeting, um, that conversation should not be on the like
Mhm.
document if like it's a Google Doc or a Word doc. But in terms of just like a tracking mechanism, Jorge, which is what I think you might be talking
Yeah.
about, um, that I do believe uh we can arrange. It's a little bit tricky just with our like IT firewall. Um, but if that is something that's of interest, I can definitely make sure we can do that and then make that
Yeah. That would be great because then everybody can just
happen.
input uh, new actions, status, comments. We don't need to interact. We just need to update. And, I can just check on what's being uploaded and follow up separately, with each of you.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think like one of the nice things about starting to like kind of like zero in on that and having the document is like it can help ground our meetings a little bit of like we can just make sure we're taking time every meeting of like when we're doing commissioner updates,
Mhm.
we can specifically be like, does anybody have any updates about how we're doing with building bridges between Latin communities? Or does anybody have any updates about like how we're doing with like fostering more participation and awareness of like city governance? And I think that'll like help shape conversation. So I think doing that and then, yeah, anything you can do in the document that helps capture some of that so we can stay focused, I think will be a huge win. Cool. Anything more on this? I feel like we're in a good place. I don't think there's any immediate updates that need to be made. I think it will just show up in how we do next meeting, and then Jorge might have some adjustments. So, anybody have anything more on this topic?
Aaron, is this when you wanted us to talk about specific activities, or did you want me to bring that in
Oh
now?
yeah. Let's hear from you.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yes.
So let me do. So I just Elizabeth and I should say, um, input into the what I believe is the most updated version of the work plan that you all created at the last meeting or discussed at the last meeting, and just came up with some possible activities for the commission, either as a body or for individual commissioners to take part in support of the goals outlined in the action plan. Um, I have them here in just a Word doc. Bear with me just a second. And I can share my screen and I'll read them off to you so we're getting interpreted. So our folks, maybe if I got this out of the way, are folks seeing the Word doc of the work plan?
Yes.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Um, so here we have the different focus areas. So number one, bridging vertical gaps. The key objectives to increase awareness of the HRC and Human Rights Ordinance, help community members understand how to navigate city resources, strengthen communication and accountability, reduce barriers, strengthen HRC relationship with city council. So some possible activities that Elizabeth and I came up with here were to volunteer to join staff, most likely meaning me, or potentially some of our other outreach staff with uh, Housing and Human Services to share about the Human Rights Ordinance and the claims process, and assist in capturing questions, common questions that might come up, or comments from partner agencies or community members about barriers to accessing our claims process. Designate at least one HRC meeting per year for a community info session about the Human Rights Ordinance and invite community organizations and community members to join. Help plan and staff a Human Relations Commission table at community gatherings and events. Provide feedback to staff about potential opportunities to strengthen the Human Rights Ordinance. This one is a little bit duplicative here. This is mine. Present to community groups on the commission specifically and invite public comment, invite folks to come and share their thoughts, concerns, questions of the commission. Learn about ongoing efforts by the city to boost civic engagement and support, such as our Community Connectors in Residence program or the community engagement happening through the Boulder Valley Comprehensive Plan, and set a goal to increase public comment by X number per meeting by year end. So these are just ideas to kind of get folks thinking about what are the tasks that the commission can undertake to accomplish some of the goals here.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I have there's two more sections. I can go through those one by one, or if we want to pause and have conversation right now, whatever works best, Aaron. And
Yeah, maybe let's just give a little bit of space for if like any of these people feel like really excited about. Like personally, I feel now they're gone. I can't see them, but I feel particularly excited about like the like learning about like ongoing efforts for engagement, like community connectors, like learning about that and like understanding how to support and connect with that is like something that I feel personally excited about. So curious if anybody else has any of these activities that are really speaking to them.
I like that one too, Aaron, and I also would be happy to join Christian on presentations about the ordinance and the claims process. I probably need to learn more about the claims process, but if I'm just capturing questions and comments, then great. But I would be happy to join for, those presentations to certain groups.
Super cool. A little more space if anybody has any, and no pressure to have. You may feel more excited about two or three. Elizabeth.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly respond or reflect on what you shared, Mindy. I think the goal from staff perspective is not that everyone become like the expert, but one of our kind of the threads through our staff work plan for our department is making sure that community members do have the awareness of what services are available to them and that they increasingly trust, right? That they can reach out even if nobody can guarantee what the outcome will be. It's to understand like this is a door that is open. We hope if you need it, you'll come in. And increasingly and always, right, kind of going out in the community and meeting folks where they're at. So that's kind of why um to Christian and I, it's helpful, right? So that we're not the only faces of the human rights ordinance and the community relations work generally, because we do support you all in this commission. So being there and kind of helping establish some of those connections just can kind of help hopefully build that level of trust and help us recognize with your all's help what things can be improved upon over time. But yeah, no need to be the expert.
Well, that's helpful and
Yeah.
actually makes it more appealing. So, thanks for that.
Cool. Nobody else has any, then we could maybe hear the next section.
Yo quiero nada más, pedirles que si nos puedes compartir esta otra vez, Cristian, porque no, yo creo que lo extravié o lo perdí en mis emails, y si nos lo puedes compartir otra vez este plan de trabajo, por favor.
Sure thing. I can do that. Do you want it right now, Carlos, or is it all right if we go through this part of the discussion and I send it to you afterwards?
Sí,
Yeah, that works
claro,
like that.
cuando tengas tiempo, no hay problema.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and so maybe you can send out the one that has all these possible activities so that if there's like ones that people don't name here, we can also capture those. And sounds like Jorge, maybe what you'll be able to do after this is like here where the activities are getting lit up so we can shape that into the final doc.
We need to put responsibles for each of the
Yeah,
possible activities. Yeah.
yeah. Like the learn about ongoing efforts by city. I'm happy to be a responsible point of contact for that.
Awesome. So moving along into Number two, bridging horizontal gaps. This is strengthening cross-community relationships and understanding, create spaces for respectful dialogue, address isolation experienced by specific communities, strengthen connection between Latinx community and broader Boulder community, support facilitated conversations that allow people with differing identities, backgrounds, or viewpoints to listen, learn, and engage constructively. Some ideas here: continue forward with the training for difficult dialogue to enable support and leadership for local activities as they pop up. Approach CU to co-host and promote existing difficult dialogues for issues that align with the HRC's mission and objectives. Volunteer to attend community gatherings hosted by other agencies where community members are discussing topics that align with the HRC's mission and objectives, and report back with notes, observations, questions, or recommendations to the commission to communicate with the appropriate city staff. Invite organizers of cultural events to an HRC meeting to share about their programs and events. These are publicly noticed meetings. This is a place that folks can find out information about what is going on, conversations happening in the community. They go up on a YouTube page. We can also keep a calendar of cultural events and commit to attending X number of events a month, a quarter, or a year. So just again, some ideas to help sort of generate some ideas of how we want to address and accomplish some of the goals within this second section.
Awesome. Thank you once again, Christian. Anybody want to speak to any of these that are really feeling alive for them?
And I'll just keep the tasks up here instead of trying to flip between.
Great.
I'll be happy to do the CU approach. I have two kids graduating from CU, my wife graduating from CU, and I'm starting an MBA in Q3. So I'm going to be fully connected with CU. I'll be happy to take that one under my shoulders.
Great. And I'd be happy to find some time with you because I was the one who had a bit of the connection with the director of the Center for Humanities and Arts, Dr. Jennifer Ho, and that was where there was a little bit of this CU difficult dialogue partnership. Nothing's actively happening there, but I'd be happy to give you the context of what's already been to help shape what might become for the next step. For me, I feel really excited about those last two, like inviting organizers of cultural events to HRC. I feel excited about using this as a space to get more cultural perspectives from our community to help us inform how we build those bridges. And also keeping a calendar of cultural events and committing to attend. That part feels interesting for me. I used to have a pretty regular weekly keep track of things. So yeah, those two both feel interesting to me. And Emily, you're welcome to chime in. Yours would not be a commitment, clearly, but if you're just ooh, I really like that, you can just name the voice of support for different activities.
Only to chime in to say thanks for adding more detail and ideas. It's exciting to see the ideas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any more here before we move on? Okay, let's go check out section 3.
Okay. Supporting marginalized and underrepresented communities. So center communities most at risk of falling through systemic gaps in HR's Human Relations Commission outreach and advocacy, elevate community concerns that may otherwise go unheard, improve access to information, resources, and support and monitor issues affecting our unhoused neighbors, including engagement with the Central Park planning process, raise awareness of community members experiencing hardship, discrimination, or exclusion, connect individuals and communities to resources they may not know exist or feel comfortable accessing. Some possibilities here, just kind of continuing, there's a theme of the first one. See previous suggestions about accompanying staff to presentations, engagements with local organizations and groups. Volunteer to attend community gatherings hosted by other agencies where community members are discussing topics that align with the HRC's mission and reporting back. Help plan and staff an HRC table at community gatherings or events. Participate in event for HHS, and that's Housing and Human Services Board, Commission, and committee members for collective conversation about increasing. And Elizabeth, I think you had a thought that kind of fell off there. So I'm not sure what we're increasing. You can help me out with that one.
Awareness probably was the word I was not intending to type there.
There we go. About increasing awareness.
Yeah. Generally, and some of you will remember, I think Carlos and Aaron and Emily maybe participated in the first HHS board commission committee event. It would have been a year ago, just over a year ago, right at the end of 2024. And we do want to do that again, but we just don't have a date yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to definitely learn more about that event. Like easy one-time lift that could really help bring more coherence.
Aaron, your volume was super low right there.
Ah.
Didn't hear you.
There we go. Yeah, I was just saying I'm definitely interested in learning more about that event as details come clear.
Sure.
Anybody have anything they want to speak to that's really speaking to them here?
I mean, the first one's this somewhat redundant with the other thing I talked about doing, but I'm game for that. So
Cool.
Guys, I can help with all the, plan and staff on HRC tables at community gatherings as I become available. So I'll happy to jump in whenever it's needed, and I can do it.
Awesome. Okay, anybody else have anything they want to speak to here?
Yo
Cool.
nada más quiero agregar que me gustan todos estos proyectos, son muy ambiciosos y yo también en lo que pueda aportar y ayudar, estoy disponible.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos. Cool. Okay, so it sounds like Christian will send us this revised thing with those possible activities. And it sounds like each of us kind of has some areas that we're already pretty excited to be engaged in. And so Jorge, maybe you can just grab the transcripts from here. I can help you do the AI version of that or whatever. And like just make sure that we note down all that for getting the more structured one. Cool. Sweet. Now I'll say any final conversation on this topic. Okay. So let's close that topic and we'll move on to the next topic, um, which we've just put as like immigration, supporting our Latin community. I'm sure like we're all aware that like things are in a kind of rough place for our immigrant and Latin communities, especially in the country right now. We've seen it big time in Minneapolis, and now we're like starting to see it potentially coming more and more to Colorado. And yeah, I'm just interested in us having a conversation about like how we think we might best support, how we can best support as a commission, what suggestions we might want to make to city council about like what is what is like a good principled stand here? How do we show up? So like there's like that level, and also just like really just directly supporting the community. And like Carlos, I would really love to hear like anything you might be able to share with us here about like what you're tracking about where the Latin community is at, or like where you think we might be able to best help, or where needs are, if you're open to sharing.
Bueno, yo en este caso, lo que más la comunidad pregunta es, quieren más comunicación, quieren saber más de lo que pueden hacer, qué es lo que, este, cómo pueden ellos, saber qué es lo que está pasando, porque hay mucha gente que dice que sí están en Colorado, que no están en Boulder, que sí, que no. Entonces, lo que quieren tener es más vínculos de comunicación, saber exactamente qué es lo que está pasando, qué es lo que está sucediendo y si en realidad están ya aquí en Boulder. Mucha gente dice que sí, que ya los han visto, pero no están haciendo redadas como están haciendo en otros lados. Creo que se están enfocando en buscar a la gente que tiene más delitos. Creo que en este caso es lo que he escuchado que están haciendo. Pero necesito yo también tener más información para dársela a la comunidad, porque en realidad no tengo mucha información de lo que está pasando.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing all that, Carlos. Did you have something you were going to share, Emily? It looked like you had.
Yeah, I just it was several months ago now, probably in the summer, so a long time ago, but the district attorney for Boulder County, is it county? Yeah, he's county, Matthew Doherty, gave a what I felt like was a helpful summary of um, basic rights as well as what else did he talk about? Maybe the cooperation of law enforcement with Department of Homeland Security. So to your point, Carlos, about folks wanting more information, I'm curious if there is someone locally we could tap to either come to our meeting and speak, and then we distribute the recordings amongst our communities, or um, if you all carrying this work would want to do like a separate workshop or webinar or something. Um, but I'm curious, Elizabeth or Christian, if anyone comes to mind who might have that type of information, because the side that I'm most familiar with is more of the like community response side to ICE being present, or folks showing up to confirm whether or not a reported ICE sighting is actually an ICE presence in the community. So I don't know much about how, especially from like a broader perspective, like who would have that information about the presence of ICE in our community.
Yeah, just a couple thoughts. One is the it's well within the HRC's scope to share information like that has been provided by the district attorney. This is publicly available information from a reliable source that can definitely be shared out. It's likely beyond the scope of the HRC as it would be for kind of an individual city staff member to be in a position where you might be advising individuals on what they should or shouldn't do. And so I think categorically there are, some things that are, um, yeah, as I said, kind of within the scope, that the HRC could definitely help spread the word. And since you brought it up, Emily, yeah, I think the materials from the district attorney are a good example for that. There are other organizations that are having community events that the city may or may not be sponsoring per se, but again, it's kind of out there in the public sphere. But every board and commission and committee, really needs to kind of look at what your role is in this role, which might be different than what any individual might want, or feel like they have the information to do. So I would just consider that, and we can help advise as we go along. Check with other colleagues if you're not quite sure what your scope is. But communicating publicly available information kind of along the lines of the Know Your Rights is certainly something that you could do.
To that effect, I dropped in the chat because the DA's office has updated guidelines for updated those documents that you were just mentioning, Emily, with some new information, kind of like based on what we're seeing here, as well as so there's two Know Your Rights documents from the DA's office, one in English, one in Spanish, in the meeting chat, and I'll share them out as well. It's part of my follow-up. In addition, there is a Boulder Police Department webpage that has information about this topic, as well as some frequently asked questions that might go a little bit further than what's in the PDFs there. So that information is there. Again, is out there for anyone. Carlos, you're more than welcome to, or anyone here, more than welcome to share with your networks to get good information out there.
And I just Googled it because, the world we live in right now. Carlos, I don't know. I don't want to recommend a resource that isn't reputable, so I'm not going to reference the random maps that are present, but the Colorado Response Network has live updates. So I'm seeing like a snapshot on their of their Facebook page, for example, that has where a confirmed ICE presence has been. So that might be an organization for folks to follow, the Facebook page. And then they also have an activity hotline to report potential ICE raids. And then that side is what I am more familiar with citizens, with community members showing up to confirm that presence or not. Some of the maps, it looks like, are very community sourced and so have vague reportings, and I just wouldn't want anyone to be misled that there were or weren't ICE raids in Boulder because of those maps. But that, just from my Google search, seems like it could be helpful. The Colorado rapid response network. And they are bilingual. The Facebook posts are bilingual, and then the hotline is also bilingual.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen as well. And it seems like a really solid resource. And I've been seeing very reputable people share it. So, yeah, if your community doesn't already know about that, that's probably a good one. Cool. Um, anything more on this?
I just I just want to share to that point, it seems like it's been a challenging balance in the city to know when to communicate or not communicate. So, I have a friend who works downtown, and she said she received like a message one day that there was an ice sighting in downtown Boulder, and it freaked a lot of people out, and it turned out to be a false report.
Yep.
So just naming that balance of and the importance again of the confirmation to make sure that it's ice and not just like on one of those maps it was like I saw a large SUV with dark windows, and the fear is absolutely understandable and justifiable, and just want to make sure not to be spreading um more panic.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Just want to name for the record that Jorge sent a message in chat and he had to leave the meeting. And we'll check back in with the recording later. But yeah, no, I appreciate you naming that, Emily. And I think it's really important. Yeah, so yeah, if there's anything else you can think of, Carlos, that would enable us to be of support, or you think there's any kind of statement or thing that we can state or that we can suggest to City Council, I'm all ears for that, and also open to any suggestions from Elizabeth and Christian. But it sounds like right now, just like spreading good information is one of the most important things. And I'm glad to know that like Boulder Police has released what they released, and the DA as well. And so it's just good to have those resources to point people towards. Cool. Anything more on this?
Bueno, bueno, yo quiero cerrar con esto. Si ustedes tienen alguna información o saben de algo, nada más comuníquenmela para yo comunicársela a mi comunidad, ¿sí? Y pues estar en contacto, comunicados y darle la comunicación correcta a la gente, ¿verdad? También, ahorita que dijiste, Emily, de que si hay una persona, voy a hablar tengo una abogada eh, aquí en Boulder que está también muy familiarizada con esto de inmigración, es Violeta Chapín, creo que, no sé si la conozcan, Cristian y Elizabeth, pero ella es maestra de la universidad y está muy conectada con todo esto. Voy a hablar con ella también para ver qué conocimiento tiene ella de todo esto. Y gracias a todos ustedes.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. And if you can like let your community know that we're standing with them in support of them. Yeah. Really appreciate you being a bridge. Okay. Anything more? I think if not, then let's move to discussion item number 3. Flock. I think I have a good bit to say, but I'll let you lead it, Emily, since you added it to the agenda.
Yeah, and I'll let you co-lead it, Aaron, since you know a lot about it as well. I don't, I'm new to knowing about flock cameras. I was at one of the boycott events last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, and someone was tabling about the use of flock cameras in Boulder, and um, they are cameras that we can look up the location of, but they are taking our license plates. They're taking identifiable information about our cars. There are also some, Aaron wrote in the letter, there are also some positioned close to bike paths and playgrounds. And then Flock, the company, uses artificial intelligence to, and it's a company that contracts with police departments and other forms of law enforcement. And so there are many privacy concerns with Flock, some of which are connected to our conversation that we just talked about with immigration. Some of them are connected to reproductive freedom and tracking women who are seeking abortion in states where those are legal. There's evidence of domestic violence victims being tracked through Flock by members of law enforcement that have access to their system. Member with artificial intelligence, many reports of misidentification of people and vehicles. So Aaron, you cited an example in Aurora where a family was misidentified and yeah, put on hot asphalt. I thought that was very visceral. So wanted to the timeliness of this is that the contract is going up for renegotiation or for renewal in March. And it's not technically, I guess, up to the city council to approve this because it's an administrative contract request. And I think it's still very worth vocalizing our opposition as this has numerous human rights implications. So I drafted a letter. I did run it by the person who told me about the flock cameras, and she approved of the letter. And then Aaron graciously added quite a few examples to further the point. So I don't know if we want to just read the letter out loud, or what is best procedure-wise.
I can at least pull it up. So, yeah, so yeah.
And Aaron, sorry, Aaron, would you like to add anything
Yeah.
because you have a lot of knowledge about this
Yeah.
company?
Yeah, basically it's like Flock is those big blue cameras and they're typically license plate cameras, but they also oftentimes snap like photos of people's faces. The company is not the most transparent about that. This company does sell data to federal law enforcement agencies. Boulder has disallowed that, which is the argument that some people in Boulder Council and Government would have for keeping them, is because they have opted out of like federal law enforcement agencies using it. And there's a lot of like instances of flock data being poorly held, and even if it's like not explicit, that like oftentimes federal law agencies still have access. There's been personal data leaked. And like in general, the opinion that I've heard from most people I know talking about this is that like Flock just as a company is like not doing right, and this is violating a lot of privacy things and creates a special like risk for a lot of like marginalized communities. And so yeah, pretty much everybody I've talked to is in favor of us requesting that we ask the council not to have these here. And as Emily said, it's like going up for renewal in a month, and it does not go to council. But because it doesn't go to council doesn't mean that council can't say something about it. I think council can still make a statement and probably like have the city manager not renew this. But it's like it's not going to explicitly come to council, so it has to be something that council takes an action on, which is why I think both Emily and I are advocating that we send this letter to council to kind of speak of this. And I'm happy to send you this whole letter over, but it's like basically it's just like a request. It's pointing out, yeah, a lot of the things where there's like not good oversight for the mass surveillance, where it does create increased risks for immigrant and marginalized communities. Um, like I said, like a lot of documented misuses, errors, security failures, and that there's like a very growing movement, and a lot of cities have already joined. And so it's not like we would be going against the precedent. There's a big precedent for getting the flock cameras out of legal landscapes. Um, and so, yeah, just like a number of things here, but then just having the recommendation that the city of Boulder declines to renew. So that's some thoughts. I don't want to assume that, yeah, that like you both like see the things the same way as Emily and I, and would love to just like hear other perspectives and how people are landing on this issue.
I didn't have time to read the entire letter, so I would like to. I mean, my gut is that I will fully agree with you. Um, I was curious, and maybe you guys said this and I just missed it. How long has the city had a contract with Flock? Do we know?
I don't know actually.
And has it just been automatically renewed ever since, or is this a newer technology that's been, because I only started recently hearing about Flock, in the last what, year or two. But there you go. Okay.
Yeah, 4 years.
January. Okay, so this is the first renewal.
Mm.
Um, So I definitely agree that this should not be an automatic renewal and just go through without any discussion whatsoever. And like I said, I probably agree with every word in your letter. I just didn't read it quite word for word yet. But generally, I you know I would look at Elizabeth and Christian to say, does this? I mean, it seems to fall within our scope, but just asking you guys for confirmation there.
It's a little hard to say. I think generally, uh, guidance to any border commission, and I think it's what you said, Mindy, just be clear with each other about what information you have that you feel confident in. If you need more time, everyone to get information from source and discuss. Um, there is a kind of like an FAQ on the city's webpage that, sorry if it was included in here, or if you already have it, but Christian or I could put that in the chat. I'll say he and I are not kind of experts or in the lead on this item. So if there's some more information that you wanted from the city, we could also kind of take questions and get those over to the appropriate staff members and enable some communication in that way at minimum.
Great. Yeah, I think more information is always helpful, and I also just want to point out the time of this because it's um, in March, and so most likely they would need to have made this decision before we meet next. So, yeah.
So that was my next question. When is it due to auto renew? Do we know March when?
I'm not sure March what, but even if it's like a few days after our meeting, I'd be hesitant about like
No, of
trying to get
course.
them to look before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm more just put in my head.
Yeah,
Um,
not sure. Carlos, do
okay.
you have anything you want to weigh in here?
Pues yo tampoco he leído muy bien la carta, pero por lo que están diciendo, estas cámaras no son buenas para nadie de nosotros. Entonces yo creo que la leería mañana y yo estaría de acuerdo en que se procediera a mandarla al Consejo Municipal.
Cool. Do you feel good with that as well, Mindy?
Yeah, I mean, can I have like just tonight to just read it over? Like I said, my gut is of course yes. I mean, on the whole, but I just want to like read it through thoughtfully.
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure how that would work because it's like I think we
Oh,
all
we
have
have to vote on it.
we have to vote. I wonder if you want to we want to like just like take like 5 or 10 minutes to.
I'm sorry to be difficult. I just like
No.
if I'm voting on something, I just want to be knowledgeable that I know
Yeah,
what I'm voting on.
yeah, I get you.
And I'm sorry I didn't read this ahead of time. I had
It's
Actually,
it's
yeah, Aaron, I think can you send your version? Because I think
yeah.
the version included is I had written a shorter version with fewer examples, Mindy, and then Aaron graciously added those extra examples. So even if you had read the
okay.
one,
Yeah, yeah. So you're yeah. Um, so I don't know if Elizabeth or Christian can speak to that in terms of the ability to take a night to read it. 'Cause I think the
Well,
other
I mean, I can just review this in like a few minutes then,
okay,
if
sweet,
that
sweet.
makes things easier. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to be a little
no,
thorn in
no,
the
I
side.
appreciate your integrity with yourself for it. So
I'm
maybe let's just take 5 minutes and we can all skim over it.
yeah, I'm also trying to just think creatively as well. Given sort of the constraints within our current structure, I don't know um exactly in the month of March when, but we don't have to like as we've done in January and February of this year, meet on the third Monday. We can set a meeting for early March to um like have if folks need time to do this and try to make sure that it is before to have a formal vote if that is something that folks are open to. I'm just spitballing here, but up to you all.
Yeah, I haven't seen any information about when in March, and my inclination is that we should get this to the city council with enough time for them to actually read over it and like think over it. Because I imagine a lot of people are talking with them.
and like this is not saying that Mindy, your integrity is not important, but is it majority vote or is it needs to be consensus everybody for sending over a letter?
I think it is majority, which means if you wanted to be in integrity, Mindy, you could technically abstain, but we can also take five
Yeah,
minutes.
because
You can
because
take 5 minutes to just like look over the thing.
Jorge's not here either right now.
Aaron,
Right.
just to real quick
Mhm.
call out that you are still screen sharing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Okay.
guess everybody can look at their own.
I'm just reading real quick. Just
Yeah, totally. Yeah, let's we can all take
give me a minute.
Take your
four more minutes.
take your time, Mindy, and Carlos, since Carlos hasn't seen the full letter either.
Okay, I feel sufficiently well versed now. So I feel comfortable voting in favor of sending it. But thanks for
And
giving me a little time.
absolutely, thanks for taking the time. You feel good as well, Carlos? Cool. Then let us take it to a vote. All in favor of sending this letter as it is written from us to the city council. The ayes have it, and it is passed. Christian, you have that link. Can you facilitate that getting to city council? Or is there anything more you need from me there?
Just making sure I do have the link. Oh, yes, this one. Okay.
And Nuria as well, the city manager,
Yeah,
please.
City Council and Tenuria.
Thank you.
Got it. Can do.
Great. Thank you so much,
And
Christian.
I
Yeah.
believe they'll take public comment on this matter as well at the police oversight meeting, which I don't know precisely when they're meeting next.
Great.
There's a meeting of the police oversight panel happening right now.
Oh, wow.
Ah,
I
well,
don't know when the next one would be. I do know that tonight they did coincide.
Oh, wow.
okay.
That would have been helpful to send this letter, but maybe they're already discussing and forming their own. So,
I do know that they have received um like community concern around the topic
cool.
In terms of their ability to do much more than what we're doing now, which is voice
Yep.
concern, opposition, support, whatever that may be, is limited, is my understanding.
Cool.
But they do indeed, you can make public comment at their meeting about it.
Great. You think they meet once a month as well?
Off the top of my head, I do not know, but I can get you that information.
That's all good. You can look it up. Cool. Okay. Well, good to know that people have voiced it to them and they'll take whatever action they take. And I appreciate everybody being able to make a quick decision on this. I think it is like a really good thing to take a stand for, and I appreciate you bringing it onto the agenda, Emily. Cool. With that, that concludes all of our discussion items. Unless anybody has anything more they want to drop in here. Seeing none, we will move into staff update. Over to you, Christian.
Yes. Bear with me. Go.
And thanks for that link, Elizabeth. Looks like they meet community engagement committee meeting first Thursday, which already passed, and our panel meeting is second Monday, which is right now. So appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, so what you should be seeing on your screen here, February is Black History Month. We have some community events coming up throughout the city, actually sort of ongoing throughout the month of February and into March. So Black Futures in Art has two exhibitions, one happening at the Nobo Bus Stop Gallery up in North Boulder from February 6th to the 27th. And then an exhibition at the Dairy Arts Center from February 19th to March 19th. The opening reception, for the North Boulder exhibition has already passed, but the opening reception for the Dairy Art Center exhibition will take place on February 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. And then there is also a new art installation and celebration happening at the Museum of Boulder, which is the Bench by the Road installation and celebration, which is, as I understand, a tribute to Toni Morrison. And that will take place on February 16th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And as always, I will share information with links and registration after the meeting as part of my usual follow-up. And then this next event, I will pass over to you, Elizabeth, at Civic Soup with Elevate Boulder.
Thanks, Christian. And just a reminder that if there are the kinds of events or celebrations that you would like for Christian and I to provide, please let us know. Otherwise, we're just sharing what we think will be interesting to you based on topics and conversations you've had in the past. And Elevate Boulder is one of them, Kansas City's guaranteed income project. So there is an exhibit of storytellers, participants who were in Elevate Boulder that is at the main library from February 5th, so this past week, through March 30th. And it's on the ramp between kind of the main lobby area. If you go up the ramp, that little exhibit area toward the restroom is where this exhibit is. So feel free to stop by anytime and check out the stories of impact from those participants. And then on March 12th, there'll be the second of two community events where the library serves actual soup to eat, which yesterday was the first event. It was very yummy. And people are able to look at the exhibit, chat with each other, and then we'll have a panel presentation that includes people who participated in the program, talking about their experience and how it impacted them. So if you're available that evening, just welcome you to come and join us for the event. But if you're not available on March 12th, you can check out the exhibit anytime between now and March 30.
Super cool. I appreciate knowing about that. Civic sweeping thing is cool, and I had just seen about the Black Futures in Art, so I'm excited to go check that out as well.
Yes, and one item that I did not include here, but I would be remiss to mention is as Emily mentioned earlier in the meeting, next month will be her last meeting with the commission. So we will work on coordinating a celebration, acknowledgement, appreciation, however you would like to have that, whatever form you would like that to be, Emily. And I can say this round of recruitment, we received the most interest that I have experienced, at least in my short time with the commission. We had 7 qualified applicants, and we are working our way through interviews with each of them. Started last week, going into this week, and there will be the new or there will be discussion, and council will make their decisions in terms of who will take over Emily's newly vacated seat at the early March council meeting.
Wow. Look at that. Hot seat.
That's really exciting that
I
there
can say at least one person came from that tabling event that Mindy and Emily were at. I do not know how the others heard about it, but was thrilled to see the interest.
It's so cool.
That's great. We'll take full credit.
Good.
Okay, I think that's it for staff updates. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, over
Oh.
to
Aaron,
Oh.
sorry, can I just say one more thing? So I'm not sure Mindy or Jorge was not no longer here, but just a reminder to all commissioners that the newsletter from our Housing and Human Services Department comes out monthly. And so I think you're all signed up for that. But if you're not, Christian or I can send you the link to get that. And that's a recap of what's coming up, kind of what's happened and what's coming up. And then we'll also be providing our departmental annual report, which will be the second annual report of this kind. We're aiming for the end of March this month to just kind of share what we did and what some of the impacts were in 2025. So just a heads up on that. But if you're not currently getting the newsletter, please, click on that link and sign up, and that will get you information from across our department.
And I should have gotten it already.
I don't know if anyone sign you up automatically. So if that doesn't look familiar, if you haven't been getting something in your inbox,
The
Yeah.
last one I got
wouldn't
was
hurt
January
to
20th. It
to
would have been
click
like
on it. Yeah.
3 weeks ago was the last one they sent.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting it. That's fine. I'll just sign up right now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
perfect. Thanks for that, Elizabeth. Okay.
That's it. I'm done.
Awesome. Over to commissioner updates. Anybody got some updates to share? Emily.
I have an update. Well, in addition to just saying thank you all for just being together these last couple years, and Mindy more nearly newly for you, but it's been I'll say more at whatever the marking of my departure is, but it's been a really sweet experience to be with you all every month or a couple times a month. So thank you. There is a really cool event happening at the Norland Library this Thursday called the Black Panther Party, the 1960s Black Freedom Struggle and Their Significance in Trump's America, a panel discussion with former party members. So that is happening. I'll put the link in the chat so that Christian can include it in the minutes, but that is happening at 7 p.m., 7 to 9. And then I also got an invitation from the Center for African and African American Studies, I believe, for some sort of fun party beforehand. So I'm trying to see if I can find it. Black History Month celebration. I'll see if I can find it. But lots happening, it seems like, around Black history at Norland on February 12th, this Thursday.
Super cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. I'll just share a little update, which is that I've been continuing to think a lot about this, like how do we like increase like transparency and participation. And so I'm currently working on a fun little like tech side project to try and like map out like the different conversations that all the different boards and commissions are having and city council is having to try and like surface more helpful information so people can kind of get a sense for where conversations are happening. So I don't know quite what it'll turn into, but just kind of naming that I'm like working on a fun little project that might end up being an indirect way of like fulfilling some of the goals that we're looking at here.
Yo quiero comentarles que voy a empezar, bueno, ya empecé a trabajar con Growing Gardens. Fuimos a llevar jardines a las comunidades de frutas, verduras y todo esto. Growing Gardens nos va a proporcionar herramientas para las personas de las comunidades. Eh, lo que hizo Growing Gardens este año es crear como un tipo de conectores entre Growing Gardens y las comunidades. Y vamos a llevar jardines de frutas y verduras a las comunidades.
Super cool. It's exciting. Anything from you, Mindy?
No, but thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Great. Well, if nobody has anything else, that will conclude our commissioner updates. Hang on, where did my nice little agenda wander off to? Okay. Follow-up items closing. Do we have anything here, Christian?
Yep. I have three ish. One is first, I will make sure that we have the ability to have a shared spreadsheet or document for Jorge to take the lead on, but all commissioners can input or update information into, or the tracking of workplace or work plan items, excuse me. I will send each of you the copy of the work plan that had the activities that Elizabeth and I put in there. And then last but not least, get the letter that was approved at tonight's meeting to City Council and City Manager.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Anything else? Am I missing anything? Just double
Nothing
check.
tracking. No, that
Okay.
was good.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So, with regards to the activities and the things that we talked about, will you, Christian, just put it out to all of us when there are opportunities to jump in and help? Or, I'm thinking of these events that staff goes to where it would be helpful to have one of us there. You just send us an email. Is that how that would work? Because it seems like waiting month to month doesn't seem efficient. I'm sure there are things happen in between. So.
Yes, so I work on scheduling those kind of on a rolling basis. And since that is a work plan item, I'm glad you bring that up so that I do have in front of mine to share out with folks as the opportunities do crop up. So I will make an effort to share in between meetings by email, and then at meetings as it makes sense.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that, Mindy. Thanks, Christian.
I would just quickly add it can go both ways. So if commissioners are interested in having a table at Pride Fest or pick the event, and you're aware, right, that there's tabling happening, the communication could come that way too. There's budget attached to that. Most of the time tabling has a fee, so oftentimes the events kind of are publicized or advertised for people to sign up and register for tabling. Maybe the city already has plans to have a table, maybe we don't. So there can be back and forth. I don't want to make it seem or have Christian or I give a impression that we currently are tabling at all community events. That's not the case. And so it can be a conversation. So I think it's a little bit of a both and. But in terms of those presentations to community organizations, it's really about fostering either existing relationships or trying to strengthen those relationships. And for that, then yeah, would absolutely be taking the lead and letting you all know what's coming up next or what some of those opportunities are.
Awesome. Thanks, Elizabeth. All right, y'all. Any final thoughts? Okay. And 7:45 p.m., I hereby call this meeting of the Human Relations Commission to a close. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good
I
night.
think you actually need a motion to adjourn.
You do.
Sorry.
I motion to
Motion.
adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
All in favor? All right, this meeting is herefore closed. Yay. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Bye.
Everybody.
Great.
Gracias a
Thanks, everybody.
todos. Buenas noches.
Good night.